What's up, Mr. Willie? How you doing today, brother?
Dave, can
How
you
you
do
doing?
me a favor and reach behind you and pull that handle down?
Yeah, this is the live.
Ah,
This is the jailhouse episode. If I pull that one off,
Dave Cooper live in Las Vegas. You had quite a week there, bud.
man, did we have a week? I've been here since Saturday.
Uh,
And sleeping in a Boxabl for 3 nights, which I have to say was very comfortable. It was a lot of fun hanging out with all those guys. And then we had World of Modular, and so the show just went all week from Saturday to today.
Wonderful. Well, Godspeed to you on the trip back, and congratulations on a 24-hour live show. Well done.
Thank you. You know, that was a fun show. Now we were live 24 hours, but we weren't on all 24 hours. But we took a trip around the world in the evening. We were in Vietnam, then we were in Ireland, then we were in Honduras. You know, I said that on an event we had, and everybody's like, "Man, you got a fast plane." I actually had to explain to them, like, no, live streaming.
Yeah, well, you could tell them it's not the plane, it's your arms that are tired.
That's right. I was flapping. I will tell you that there was a point during that 24 hours where I was like, what did I do?
We've talked about it for a long time, and secretly, of course, I'm very jealous, but I would actually like to do it a continuous 24-hour one time in person, maybe somewhere in Texas is
That
where
would be
we
fun.
broadcast from.
That would be fun. And you know what? I got some new connectivity coming too that's supposed to be unbreakable from some of our friends somewhere in Texas.
Interesting. So BS Friday, if you didn't know, you know. And YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and the LinkedIn, we're all happy you're here. Dave, we've got nearly 3 years of episodes built up.
Yeah,
That's not even counting all your other shows that you do and live events. So
that's right.
YouTube's been really moving well. I can't wait to get into the mania of today. But
Let's
we
do it.
got something planned.
I know we always have something planned. I don't know how this always happens. We just have excitement around us all the time. Why don't we jump into it? We got a special guest this morning, right?
We have a special guest, and Jennifer's out there. So everyone say hello to Jennifer in the comment section. And our special guest, when you're ready, pull him up. This is the one, the only Zach Semke, Pass Fast Accelerator. What's up, buddy?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good, man. How you doing, Zach? It's great to see you.
Yeah, likewise. I'm doing great. It's been an amazing month. So it's good. And you looks like you're traveling.
I am traveling. You see the bags under my eyes? I don't feel like I've slept in a week. This is what Vegas does to you.
Oh, Vegas, it's dangerous.
It is dangerous. But yeah, we've been out here all week at Boxabl and then World of Modular. So, you know, promoting the offsite industry and the modular space, and it was a lot of fun. We have people from around the world, no different than your events, my friend.
Oh well, we've had a really busy month as well. I think we've had 12 events at the accelerator in March, which has been insane. And then in Germany, the International Passive House Conference happened. So we were several of us were in Wiesbaden, which is close to Frankfurt. Amazing trip there. And in New York City for the NYSERDA Buildings of Excellence Round 3 Awards ceremony, which is super exciting. So good stuff. I'm now kind of recovering from all the travel. So I think the bags are smaller now, I hope.
Yeah. You're looking pretty good. You're looking pretty good. So
thank you.
Given that this is the 31st, right? The final day of March, there's several hours left in the day. Why don't you do a couple more events today?
Yeah, exactly. We'll see what we can squeeze in. We have a little time left.
So Dave, ask the pilot, nicely, say, can you please take me up to Seattle? I'm going to do a few more events with my buddy, Zach. And then you and him get a few more events in today, and we'll all join you as well. What do you think?
Dude, listen, I know the pilot personally. I'll see if he can just reroute us, right? And I know you don't fly, so maybe we can throw a drag line behind the plane, and we'll just drag you down the road as we're going there.
Yeah, I'll bring my sunglasses to protect. That's perfect.
Yeah, perfect. So
I'm ready. Come on over.
let's do it, man. So Zach, you're with us for a special reason this morning. We have a lot of events to talk about. We only have about 15 minutes to talk about them. So why don't you hop into it and let's get her going.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I get to introduce one of my favorite people, probably the most generous, dedicated, and effective communicators and community builders around Passive House. I first met this special guest back in 2017 when he brought the Icebox Challenge, which is that public science experiment that compares a code-built box with a code window to a passive house box with a passive house window. You put big pieces of ice in each one, and then see which ice melts faster. So he brought that down from these two massive structures down from Vancouver to Seattle back in 2017. And that's when I first met this person. And he made it all happen overnight. He was, leading the team to build this. All of this was completely donated time and energy. It was a great success in Seattle. Then he brought this to near Times Square in New York City. He brought the boxes out there and built them. Philadelphia, Washington, DC. So like spreading the excitement and knowledge around Passive House across the US and North America. And then fast forward to March. So basically 3 years ago, 3 years and 2 weeks ago. So March 18th, 2020, COVID lockdown in Canada and in the US. He and his colleague Monty Paulson did the first online Passive House social on Zoom, and then approached Passive House Accelerator to begin hosting that. We started hosting that on April 1st, so we're at the 3-year anniversary. Became the Global Passive House Happy Hour, which then has become the Passive House Accelerator Live with a 101 edition, Next Gen edition, Project Showcase edition, Construction Tech edition. Mark Wille has been central to all of that. He's a co-host. Shaun is a co-host. Shaun St-Amour is here in the house, and I just so commend you, Shaun, for all that you do. I know you're bringing that same spirit and energy to Mass Timber and to Modular. So pleased to be your friend and colleague.
Oh, thanks, Zach. Wow. And I apologize. I should have stopped in on Tuesday night and Wednesday night, but you were sleeping as I was driving past you. So
next time, wake me up.
Yeah. Well, again, there's many coffees to keep us all awake. And again, we do have bags under our eyes because March Madness is about to close. And what an impactful month it's been. Yeah. Mass Timber, Modular, Passive House stuff. Again, congrats, Zach, on an exciting month. Again, 12 events. Can't believe how many the team put together. And they were great. The turnout's great. And so, again, congrats to what's happening at the Accelerator, because glad to be a part of it. I know Mark
right back at you.
And it's a lot of fun. And again, it's great. So thanks for having me. Again, to wrap up, and which topic do we want to get into? Because Dave, I mean, Modular was awesome for your week, and Timber conference was, again, 9 out of 10. It was awesome.
I think we're going to go back and forth. It's going to go Shaun, Dave, Shaun, Dave, Shaun, Dave. This is Mania, right? Yeah. This is
Mania.
Mass Timber Mania and Modular Mania. If you don't know what Saturday and Sunday is, you're living under a rock. This is the WrestleMania weekend, folks. So that's happening in Hollywood, but Hollywood loves quiet, comfortable, high performance, sexy buildings. That's what we're all doing. So we're going to go Dave, Shaun, Dave, Shaun, Dave, Shaun. Shaun, tell us something about Mass Timber that was over the moon, a hand you shook. Give us the energy.
Well, you know what? I'm going to start right there. When you show up to the International Mass Timber Conference in Portland, this is the 7th year, you get to meet the organizers. So Arne Dieter, who you guys had the show, he is there to greet you. And so he shook probably like 4,000 hands on each day. And to have the energy and to know the names and is incredible. And that just sets the tone for an incredible day when the leader is out there to meet everyone. And he's not, in behind the show working on things. He has an amazing crew, and it's a small crew. They have a small dedicated team to put on I'd say one of the best conferences that I get to attend every year. And it's interesting because the ticket price is not maybe the most lower class or lower price compared to other ones, but the value you get. And so when you see 4,000 people show up to event, and again, I don't know the exact number. I just know that they tripled in size since last year, since I was there. And even the keynote speaker got up on stage and he's like, this is a massive room with great dedicated people. And so when you get architects, builders, the whole construction community there to inspire and come together and collaborate and really move the mass timber market further. From last year to this year, they outdid themselves. The exhibitors that showed up had massive booths. And I only got to be there for one day. I only could get there for Wednesday. And I only saw 1/3 of the conference. I didn't see the Monday tours. Again, I think we all kind of live vicariously through our friends and we with all our different social media channels. And so I got to see some of the sites that people went to. But that is an exciting opportunity that they put on. Then they have all the speakers, and I didn't have a chance to see any of them. But I mean, the event tracks they had. Track 1 is housing mass timber's next big thing. Number 2, enabling long-term success by sharing lessons learned. Number 3, sustainability throughout the supply chain. And 4, dispelling myths regarding budgets, estimates, costs, and returns. Like, those were 4 tracks, and they all had about 6 or 8 speakers talking about it. Like, and I didn't get to see any of them. And so now
it sounds nutritious and delicious.
Yes.
So we don't want to, we can't stay on the Mass Timber Mania. Yep. We got to hop. Now we're going to the Modular Mania. Dave, bring us the energy.
Listen, just like Shaun said, wasn't as many people as was at, the Mass Timber Conference, I think, but it did grow, almost double. We were pushing 1,500 to 2,000 people at World of Modular. It was a big event. It's in Las Vegas, which makes everything a little bit more interesting. Yeah. But I will tell you, like Shaun, the educational tracks is where it is at. I think talking about inclusion and diversity, right? Reducing carbon was part of the topics that we had. I felt like I was on BS Friday just about every turn at World of Modular. And I will tell you, it was really great because we had people from around the world. It is a global event. FortiPro, who Samsung's their biggest investor. We were talking a little bit offline. But FortiPro, if you ever look those guys up over in Europe, they are building sustainable as you can, mid-rise, high-rise projects. It's really, really cool, and it's fun to watch what they're doing and how they're doing it. Now, there is some give and take on that whole thing when you get into these big, big projects with steel, but it's front and center on everything that they're doing. I think the biggest thing and the biggest lesson that I get from any of these events is to watch the collaboration. It's always fun to come, handshake, drink, go out to dinner and do all that stuff. But the amount of business and relationship building that happens only happens at these events. And when you're in person, it is much different than like what we do here in the Zoom. You can shake a hand, you can make a deal, you can work together, because hey, as much as we want to grow what's happening in our worlds of mass timber or World of Modular, it's still about business. And that is the big thing. So how do you do business, and then how do you do business responsibly? And that was a lot of the conversations that we had out there. Jim Gabriel was out there. They're doing this is really cool. They have the contract for the United States largest ever built permanent modular hospital going into Athens, Ohio. I want to say Georgia. So it's all about communicating, and it's all about coming together. And this year I saw more people than I've ever seen before, and I saw so many new companies. And that's a testament to what all of you are out there doing as well. We got to keep driving that message home, and we got to keep spreading the word on those that are building it better.
Yeah, I think this leads to Zach here, the kind of culmination of the mania of modular and mass timber. Zach, you just got back from the trip both to New York and Germany, as well as the live events. These two topics, what are you seeing, and what do you think they mean over the next several years for the marketplace?
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, when we look at zero carbon building, we're looking at combination of really low what's called operational emissions, operational carbon emissions. So that means things like passive house to drive energy use really low. And we're also talking about really low embodied carbon. And the most kind of important piece of that is the structure of a building. So to be able to move to lighter weight structures and also to mass timber, both of those are really critical. So that's part of the discussion. It's definitely top of mind for the passive house world right now. And then when it coming to modular, I mean, that's important. And it's, I mean, in terms of scaling up, we're looking at, we really need to figure out how to drive down cost and drive up scale. And so when we can do industrialized work, that allows us, that holds that promise. So, and kind of a related piece is the whole topic also of industrialized retrofits. So panelized retrofits and this whole, there's the energy sprung thing that has come from Europe and now is RMI
right.
and NYSERDA and all these organizations are trying to figure out how to apply that. That was something that was a big topic at the Passive House Conference, the International Passive House Conference. They have something called Outfit, which is essentially taking the energy sprung concept and bringing it up to passive house performance. So all of this, all of these are totally interconnected, and they're all part of this solution that we need to drive toward in this transition to zero carbon buildings eventually.
I love the industrialized flair that you bring in there, and those examples that we continue to learn from in Europe are necessary because they're replicatable again and again here. And speaking of something that lands for people, Shaun, 10 years ago, something landed for you and you got to relive that in person. Share that, would you?
Yeah. So, when we were kind of going through the whole thing about sustainability, and I kind of think resilience is a better word than sustainability these days, I went to the Green Build conference in Toronto and, just went to a Vancouver speaker and wanted to kind of get an understanding of some of the mass timber discussions that were early on. And I hope all of you have seen the Michael Green TED Talk. And if not, you've got some time to go and watch it this weekend. In addition to talk about March Madness, just a little segue and a plug is the Accelerator magazine came out this March. So grab a coffee and grab that magazine this weekend and read it while we're trying to relax. So I got to see Michael Green do a presentation, and this was a very different presentation for me because it wasn't PowerPoint and graphs and words. It was a person telling a story about the world of wood and how we can incorporate it in our buildings and how we can move into a better direction. And I literally went down to him afterwards and said, how did you learn to do that? He, told me to read the book Presentation Zen. I did it and realized when you get an opportunity to present, you got to tell a story. And so here we are. I arrive, I meet Arnie. I'm already excited to kind of give him praise for having me there. And then we go to the keynote speaker. The room is full, and Michael Green just starts doing what he does. Starts telling a story of his vision and where he's going. And I think like all of us, we're leaders and we understand the cutting edge of where passive is going, where offsite construction is going. And then Michael Green shows up and says, oh, by the way, I'm working on this. He's looking at like the fifth material to add to the construction world. So not just, concrete, steel, and wood, but looking at more fibers. And so he talked about the flow of structures. And if you think of Greece with columns and beams and that kind of like that stone look, how do you take the structure and the engineering and make it flow and make it look fantastic? And so literally in the first hour and 15 minutes, well, actually, sorry, it was about 2 hours because Arnie organizes breakfast for everyone. So you start there at 6:30, you meet with your friends, you eat, then you go and, get a handshake from Arnie, then you do the keynote. And so within the first 2 hours, I'm like, I'm done. I could go home. I could go home and maybe see Zach on my way home. But no, stuck around for the rest of the day and connected with the exhibitors. And again, like it was amazing to be inspired and walk away and be like, okay, Michael, you did it to me again. I now have another 10 years of inspiration and knowing where you're going. And he is light years ahead of us, and he's pushing the architectural world. And it's great to hear his time with Katerra and that experience. But he is moving the mass timber world and making sure that we're going to be building with low embodied carbon materials for the future, and how we have to target the where we're going to be building. And again, 40 New Yorks need to be built every month, and we need to be building with low embodied carbon materials. And he has a path and a vision for it, and it was really inspiring.
Well, that's the end of the show, folks. That was great. But, listen,
I agree. Yeah. Like it when you go to, I mean, this is the thing, right? We go to these conferences to get something, and if you can take away one thing, you've got the value of your ticket. But when you walk away with connecting with people and seeing different exhibits, like what was exciting for me too is that there was 2 modular mass timber buildings on site, and they're not focused on the single family. They're focusing on modular, the missing middle type of housing that we need. And where mass timber works well in the 6 to 12 story mark is a great target, but communities also like that size of building. And so we have this material that works good for our communities, and to see it on display. And again, they had training going on. They had like the scale of the exhibit, like they had built mass timber structures. Most of the vendors were hanging out and having coffee, inviting people in to it. And but then having some modular prefab exhibits on display, and the details, like they were on point. Like some of the details, you could tell they've gone to Europe and copied, and copying is a form of flattery, and bring it to North America and installing it. It's slick. It was really inspiring.
Yeah, a lot of those mass timber modular structures that they're doing, like you said, they're doing them in Europe. Bow Modular over in Switzerland is using it. But they're using some concrete too, because they're doing some commercial stuff.
Yeah,
it is super, super awesome. I'll tell you a hot topic this year at the show, and then guys, I'm gonna have to ditty to my flight. But the reality is this: like, there's all the new chat. We got Chat GPT, we got AI, we have all of these. Technology. I guess technology is flying at us faster than ever before in the construction space. And how does one keep up? How does one use it? How does it work? And even in AI and contracts, who owns it? Just because ChatGPT goes out there and gets everything, this is a big topic. Contracts, all of this stuff. There's going to be a whole lot of legal stuff coming out of this, is what I'm hearing. So we were very, very lucky to have Crystal Washington out there joining us, and she's kind of a futurist, and she's talking to us about how all of this AI, VR, everything that is being done virtually right now is going to affect us now and into the future and into the construction space. And the good news is Crystal's coming on our show, so we're going to be able to bring it to everybody out there. And Crystal is a big hitter. She was one of the keynotes out there, so we're lucky enough that she agreed to come on our show. A little dazzle wazzle, Dave Cooper style, and she's like, all right, I'll come on. But it'll be great to have her on. She really is wicked smart. And I think as much as we're looking at sustainability and how we're doing things, I think from what I learned from listening to Crystal, if we leverage technology and we leverage the information that technology gives us, just like social media has done, the further faster we're going to go, and it'll be much easier to even educate the consumer on the best way to build. And I think that's what's super cool about it, because we haven't even scratched the surface on how we can use technology to reach the masses. So it's gonna be cool.
I gotta go. Younger generation will usher it forward for us, right? We'll bring our experience, they'll bring the techniques. And to our friends at World of Modular, and to all the folks at the International Mass Timber Conference, what you're doing is leadership, and it is an exemplary place for the experienced folks and the new folks. I encourage everyone right now, take your Google calendars, whatever you use, and mark down these conferences for next year. The time to plan for those conferences is indeed right now. Get those on your schedule, and introduce yourself to the people that attended. Learn from their experience and deliver that to your local community, because your voice is theirs, and extend that to all the dark places that need it.
Hats off to everybody. I'm going to go. And guess what? Jen's going to jump in for a minute to wrap this up. I got to catch a flight, but I'm sure everybody would rather have Jen in there anyhow, because she is wicked smart, and I'm going to miss my flight, and then I'm going to be in trouble. So I got to go.
Godspeed to you, Dave. Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for the recaps.
Yeah, it was a busy month. And yeah, I think, Mark, your point is look at March 2024. Again, World of Modular, Mass Timber, go to International Pacifists Conference. And I'm GLC Live again, you were at too. Like, there is a lot of things happening in the month of March. And hopefully we'll spend a bit of time in early April to recap. And then we got to get ready for a busy construction summer, because there's lots to build and lots to do.
It's really conflicting. So, openly to everyone listening out there, there's dialogue that flows between Jennifer and Dave and Zach's organization and Shaun and myself and Ben Hershey and all these people that are out there at these events. We do our best to deliver our experiences to all the folks that can't attend, but we also divide our schedules, right? And knowingly, if we can hit a show in our region, we do that while someone else picks up the other one. And then when Saturday and Sunday comes, yes, it'd be joyous if we had more family time, but we also wake up a bit earlier and we get on that phone call and we recap these events. Shaun was on a several hour drive from Portland to beautiful British Columbia, and I was tired as all get out, right? But this guy's driving back. He's got his family already sleeping. And I got to hear all this energy and make sure he didn't hit a tree. Right? Yeah. So, like, it's so true that these events are a divide event. And then you could go back to the publications, to the live shows like these and others, and learn about these, because the information is coming at us. Like Dave said, it's bountiful. So grab what you can from it. Don't think that you have to learn it all. Get that piece, surround yourself with someone that may know the next piece, dive forward.
Yeah. And I think also, a lot of credit goes to these event organizers who do so much work behind the scenes and very rarely take any credit. So, the fact that Arnie and Craig put so much work into the Mass Timber Conference, and we're still there shaking hands, welcoming everybody, doing all that work on the backside and the front side. Same thing with World of Modular. So much happens behind the scenes. Advancing Prefabrication, another great event during the month of March Madness, and the Hanson Wade team there. I mean, they are working nonstop around the clock, trying to deliver an amazing in-person experience for everybody. So, Mark, you're totally right. It's up to us to share that message, amplify that message, and just, get everybody to feel that same excitement that we all felt on location.
Yeah.
Well said.
These sponsors, I know, Zach, you raised sponsors to help with special events in Germany. Stream Logistics, Stream Modular, and True Work helped to sponsor the Boxabl 24-hour event with Jennifer and Dave and Vince earlier this week. And Ben Hershey at their group, they're always doing it. These sponsors do things very selfless, because business doesn't always come back to them directly, but the marketplace gains from it. And this pushes the subject closer to the table. And what it does, Shaun and I laugh all the time, but what it does is it allows more people to sit at the table, because that brings them through. I love the fact that these folks do it. So don't be shy. Say you heard about them from these events and reach out and see what you can learn from them.
Yeah, the partnerships with sponsors and manufacturers they're very exciting, and there's a real alignment between the goals of these great businesses and the goals of these conferences, and in our case, the Pacifist Accelerator. We depend on like this transition to better buildings will not happen without the products that that manufacturers are innovating on and producing. So we're delighted to be partnering with so many great businesses who are like-minded in this, this project of this big transition.
Yeah, and I would echo that, Zach. I mean, call them, talk to them, reach out. They might just open their doors and welcome, people to come visit, especially if you're in the area. I've never seen such an appetite for people to ask questions and learn more and really investigate, from the folks, like even companies as large as Simpson Strong Tie and MyTech. Speaking with those folks, they are people in search of solving a problem, and we have lots of problems to solve. Right. So don't be shy. Move in. I mean, even Dave kind of made himself at home at Boxabl to the point where he showed up at the coffee station with his own personalized mug. So there's a lot of transparency out there. There's a lot of people who want to learn from you as much as they want to share their story. So you guys are all terrific ambassadors of that spirit, and super proud to be on here with you all and kind of wrap up this around the world March madness so quickly.
Jennifer, I have a request of the Boxabl team in the shopping cart that you have on your website. If all of the coffee cups could say Dave, it would be brilliant. I think it's also a joyous marketing thing. I won't charge you for that marketing idea at all. And as a reference to these companies that we're talking about that are so necessary, several weeks ago, I believe everyone here caught this. We had, for example, we had Westlake Royal on the show, and their building products are vast, right? That they have, what is it, Jennifer, 40 manufacturing locations in the US. Every single product has an LCA and an EPD.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
So that is an endeavor that I don't think the marketplace understands. So when you do come across companies that don't have that yet, there's no shunning allowed, folks. There's encouraging only. And when you find folks that have it, there's applause that's given, because that is an endeavor of themselves, of their suppliers, and of the folks that do that third-party handling to verify and process that. So these words of embodied carbon, these words of embodied energy for these materials, these are vocabulary words that are going to come apart and be in your vocabulary as well. So remember to support the folks that have done this, and please encourage the folks that haven't gotten there.
Excellent.
Perfect. I'm reading a side comment there. Anything coming up in your world, Shaun, now that we've covered the Mass Timber Mania? Do we have a break?
I'm sure you're gonna have a fun April Fool's Day joke for me tomorrow, but otherwise I'm gonna sit back and try to plan the rest of April, because it's been a whirlwind. I'm gonna try to sleep on Sunday, and otherwise I'm gonna gear up for, again, another big month with what's happening with the accelerator, and even with, again, we're still building 8 houses here in Clay Construction, so we got lots going on, and I'm, again, trying to be a sponge of information that's coming around from the world, and just trying to grow and learn and continue.
I'm telling you, Shaun, if you plan on sleeping on Sunday, you better turn your phone off, because I'm going to be texting you some message images from wrestling matches. And yes, I do have an article coming out tomorrow. It is very involved. We are demystifying all this. So that will come out. Zach, what's coming up in your world?
Yeah, well, next week, we're really excited about the 101 edition of Passive House Accelerator Live. This is at noon Eastern. We're going to be joined by Tessa Bradley of Art Business Group. Tessa is an amazing presenter and pioneer of great design and passive house projects. She's based in Olympia, Washington. She's going to be doing the 10 steps to designing your first passive house, single family.
So for folks that haven't seen Tessa present before, if you don't find this industry compelling, that means you have not heard Tessa.
Yeah.
So
pretty much.
Yeah, she brings the light to the industry. That's really cool, Zach. And Jennifer, what's on the store for Dave Cooper Live next week?
Yeah, you know what, I'm going to close out the show with, for many people out there, it's a really important week, and we wish you all the best, during this, as we exit March Madness, and for many out there entering Holy Week. Just want to wish everybody a blessed season, and to those of you not celebrating and celebrating in your own ways, please, stay safe out there. Safe travels home, everybody, and stay tuned for more amazing content coming from each of today's participants: Shaun, Zach, Mark, Dave. There's no shortage of information. Excuse me. So with that, wish everybody an awesome BS Friday, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.